email address or phone number you have entered does not match any account, or either if you want to enter in some website, if that particular password will not contain the integers, right? So you have to fulfill all the requirement. What type of required I'm talking about? Let's suppose when you want to enter somewhere password, so you have to enter the integer, as well as you have to enter the uppercase letter, lowercase letter. So you have to, and the special character as well as. So you have to fulfill all the requirement when you want to save any password, right? So how you will be able to check all these things? So that was a one example to understand. So all these things happen using the regular expression. So using the regular expression, you will create a one template, okay, and that particular template will fulfill the all these requirements. If your password will match all these requirements, that particular password will be, you will be able to save your password there. Otherwise, if your password will not match all these requirements, so you have to enter your password again. So those type of expressions are handled by the regular expression. Manage Excel with Python. In this chapter, we will learn about the, let's suppose if you want to read a Excel sheet without using any third-party software. Let's suppose if you want to read a Excel sheet, then you need a Microsoft Office, right? Or either you need a LibreOffice in case of Linux. So you don't need to install any third-party software. If you are using a Python, then you can simply read a Python sheet using the Python modules here, or either you can simply write Python sheet using this particular thing. In this chapter, we will also discuss about the little bit about the pandas library. That was a one very famous library, whatever used in machine learning, as well as if you want to go for a machine learning after the Python, then you have to concern about the chapter 15 very carefully. So from the chapter 16, we will start the advanced section from here. In generators, we will discuss about the generators here. Okay, in case of generator, it will give you the one object. Okay, whenever you want to call the same object, it will give you the next value present into the same sequence. That is actually a generator is. And how you will be able to create the generator, what are the differences between the generator and the list. So we will discuss all these things later. After that, we will discuss about the chapter 17. Here we will learn about the decorators, and decorators is used to upgrade your function without changing them. Okay, if you have defined a one function here and you want to upgrade the functionalities of that function without changing that particular function, then on that point you have to learn about the decorators. In chapter 18, we will learn about the anonymous function and the Pythonic programming. In case of anonymous function, we will learn if sometimes you are trying to using some functions here, okay, without defining them directly, you can simply define at the point of the execution. There's a no need to define before the execution of your function. So that was actually called the anonymous function is, okay. And now how you'll be able to define your anonymous function using the some lambda keyword. Okay, we will also learn about the list comprehension. Okay, we will also learn about the list comprehension in this chapter, how you will be able to reduce the length of your code using the list comprehension. After that, we will learn about the threading. Okay, in threading, we will learn how you can simply reduce the execution time of your program. If you are trying to execute your program, okay, your program will take 30 seconds for the execution, okay, but you want to reduce the execution time of your program. You have a good compute power in your machine, so just you can simply split your single process into a multiple thread, and just you can simply run all the threads parallelly. When you're going to execute all the threads in parallelly, so your execution time of your program will be reduced 3 times if you're going to create a thread. So if your program is taking 30 seconds, just you can simply execute the same program in 10 seconds as well as using the some threads. Okay, in the last chapter, we will cover here the chapter number 20, distributing modules. In this chapter, we will learn about how you can simply create your own libraries and how you will be upload your libraries on top of the Python official website, pypy.org. So this is a course content, guys, what we're gonna cover in next 25 hours. So let me start the chapter first from what is actually a scripting languages are. Okay, what are the differences between all these things? So let me give you the one example to learn all this here. So let me remove the notations again. Here, let me open the terminal. So just I have already told you I'm using a Ubuntu operating system, right? So there's a no difference of introduction, don't worry. Okay, one, I will teach you how you will be able to install Python in your machine. So I will show in Windows as well as. So, but in this case here, we will discuss about some examples, some sort of example, what is actually a Python is and what are the differences between the Python, Java and the Bash script. So these are multiple programming languages we heard about. So why you are learning the Python, okay, what are the features of the Python? So we'll discuss all of them right now. So the first of all, let me open a one normal notepad here. in this notepad, I'm going to write something. So what I'm going to write, let's suppose if you have heard about the compiler, right? Everybody's know about the compiler. Don't worry, I will tell you as well as. The second thing is interpreter. The third one I'm discuss about the scripting. Okay, so here when you're gonna write your code, okay, you will get a three method to execute your code. First of all, sometimes you need you will execute your code using some compiler. Sometimes you're gonna execute your code using the interpreter, okay, and most of the time you will execute the scripting language as well as using the interpreter. So what are the differences between all of them? So first of all, if you will discuss about the compiler, so let's take an example. If you have write a one piece of code, okay, and now what are the example of the compiler programming language? Just C and the C++ and the Java. These are the most popular example to understand what are the compiler languages are. Okay, if you will discuss about the interpreter, the Python and the Perl and the PHP, or either I can simply write two examples is enough. And in case of a string, just you can simply write the bash, okay, a PowerShell. So these are the very popular example to understand what are the scripting languages. So now, how will be the difference? How can you simply differentiate all these programming languages? Okay, let me give you the one example to understand all of them. So first of all, if you will discuss about the compiler programming languages, right? Now let's take one example. If you will write a one piece of code that will contain 10 number of lines. So let me create it, just give me a moment. So here, let me write a one piece of code.
मच्छर बहुत हैं, देख रहे हैं आप?
Please mute yourself, guys. Please don't disturb to another candidates as well. Let me remove the notations. Please be serious about the course. Okay, so let's take an example what I have told you guys. So I have created one program. This is just example. I will give you the one real example as well as, okay, how you will be able to execute this code first of all, but you have to understand. So now let's take an example. This is a file what I have created here. Now this file contains 10 number of programming line, and now it should be belong from C, or it could be belong from C++ or the Java. Now if you have write 10 number of lines in your program file, and now what will be the step to get the output from this file? So first of all, you need to install a compiler in your machine. Okay, so compiler will be a software which that particular compiler. Okay, and now if you are using a C and C++ code, just you need to install a GCC compiler. Okay, if you have written a Java code, then you have to install the JVM in your machine, or JDK in your machine. So you need to install a compiler first of all in your machine. Now when you will use a compiler, so this particular code, first of all, it convert into the bytecode. Okay, in which code you have to convert? So you will convert this particular code into the bytecode, and bytecode is a machine language code. What does it mean? So you have to convert into the bytecode first of all using this particular compiler, because this is a human readable text you have written here. So when you will compile this particular code, so this particular code convert into the bytecode, and this is a machine language code. Either you can simply say this is a binary code you have converted. After that, you have to execute this code, and then you will receive the final output. Okay, and now this is a final output you will receive here. Now the one more thing, if you will receive, if you will get a single error in case of even last line, if you will receive one single error in case of ninth line, okay, so you will not be able to build your code. Okay, so your code is whole error free. Okay, in case of compiler, if you will get a one error in your whole program, your code will not be compiled. If you will not compile your code, you will not be able to get your output as well as. So that's why you have to debug your whole code, and your whole code will be compiled at one time. Okay, so it will take your whole code at once in one shot, and it will compile your whole code at one shot. After that, it will give you the final output. That's actually a compiler language. In case of interpreter, if you will discuss about the interpreter here, so let me go back to the point. Let's suppose took an example, you have write the same piece of code here as well as in case of interpreter programming language. So I'm going to write the 10 number of lines as well as here, or either I can simply write minimum line 4 or 5. No, might be the 5 line is enough for the 6. Let's take an example, you have write only 6 line, don't worry. Another point, you have write a 6 number of lines here, and now this is a 5. Okay, and what is the main difference when we will discuss about the compiler and the interpreter? Now the point is, when you're going to execute this code, the first of all, this particular code will execute line by line. Okay, so first of all, it will compile the first line and it will run the first line. After that, it will it will take the second line. After that, it will execute the second line. So that's what you have to do. So now the point is, in this case, if you will get any error in case of fourth line, okay.
Sir,
So
sorry to disturb you. Sir, so much background noise is coming. Your voice is not so clear. I'm so sorry about that.
just give me a moment. Thank you for the information. Might be it's better now.
Yes.
Okay.
Still, we can feel that sound.
Okay.
Maybe some wind
everybody.
blowing. Some.
Okay. Just give me
Mute
5
every-
seconds for that. Let me.
Okay.
Might be it's better now.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
It's clear, pretty clear now.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
So one, we will discuss about the interpreter programming language. If you have written a 6 line of code in your program, when you will execute this file, so this particular file will execute line by line. So that's actually interpreter programming languages are. Now, in this case, if you have done any error in case of fourth line, so in this case, your third line will be executed successfully. Okay, your first 3 line will be executed successfully, but the remaining line will not be executed. Okay, but you will get the output of first 3 line. So that's actually interpreter programming languages are. But in case of compiler, if you have received even a error in 9th line, so you will not be able to execute your whole code. First of all, you have to debug your code. After that, you will be able to execute your whole code. But in case of interpreter, if you have done one error in any line, so on that line, your program will be terminated. And before that, you will get the output from your program. Please mute yourself, guys, if you're not speaking. Other guys also, let me mute. Now that's cool. So here, if you have done any error in case of any line, your program will terminate on that line and the remaining will not be executed. And now let's take an example to understand what are the scripting languages most of the time. So let's suppose you have write the same piece of code. First line and the second and the third and the fourth. And the last I'm going to took the 5. And now, if you have discussed about the scripting languages are what most of the popular program scripting languages are the Bash and the PowerShell. In this case, when you're going to execute this particular script, okay, let's suppose if you have done an error in case of third line, okay. So in case of scripting languages, when you will execute this script and you have done a error in third line, but even on that point, you will get the output of first line as well as second line should be executed there, okay. And also you will get the output of fourth line as well as you will get the output of fifth line. Okay, only you will not get a output of the third line in case of scripting languages. Okay, but in case of interpreter, you will get the output of only third line where you will get an error. On that point, your program will terminate. In case of compiler languages, if you have even a single error in your program, your whole program will not be executed. And now let me show you the one real example to understand all of them. Okay, just I'm going to create a one program of C++ or C or Java, Python, and Bash. So let me clear all these string from here. Let's take in one real example to understand all of them. Okay, after that, I'll teach you how you'll be able to set up an environment. Please don't worry how I'm going to execute the programs. Only you have to understand what are the differences between all of them. So let me choose. Okay, let me choose this. So here, let me take some examples, Python examples. So here, first of all, I'm going to create a first program. I'm going to create a first program of the C program, right? And now C is an example of the compiler programming language. So let me create a one program.
Sir, you will teach in Windows also?
Yeah, I will teach in Windows as well as, but right now I'm showing just normal examples to understand what is the difference between the compiler and interpreter. Okay, I will teach the Python in Windows as well as, don't worry. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So here I'm trying to create a normal file first.c. Okay, and now this particular file will belong from C programming language. This I'm going to create a one basic program, include studio.h, and now here just create a main function. Inside the main function, I just simply print a one statement, printf line 1. Okay, and now the slash in might be it's enough. So second line, third line, fourth line, and the fifth line as well. So So here I have write 5 number of lines of code. Okay, now this is a program of the C programming language what I have written here. And now this is a program you are able to see. Either just you can write this program in Windows as well as, and now this, it will look like in Notepad. Okay, now this is what I have written. Now the point what I have told you, now this particular program belongs from compiler programming language. So first of all, you have to convert this particular program into the bytecode, okay? And now bytecode will be understandable by the machine language. So if you need to convert this particular code into the bytecode, then you need a compiler, okay? For the C programming language, the GCC compiler is used to compile the code. So I have already installed the GCC compiler in my machine. Just execute this code. So let me show you. So I'm gonna build this particular code using the GCC compiler. Done. Okay, now I have successfully executed the whole code. Okay, now just you are able to see it will create a new file here, a.output, because the earlier that file will not be exist here. That file was not be exist here. Now if you have to execute this code, if you want to check it out how what you have exist in this file, so just we can simply check it out using the cat command. So this particular input not a human readable format. This is a compiled code you are able to see here. Please don't use the notations, guys. Let me remove. Thank you. Now come back. So what I have done, let me show you the one more time. So this is what we have done until yet. So I have created a normal program. Okay. Now that's fine. I have created a one program. Let me delete it again. Just compile again the same code. So just look at this. This is a first.c you have created, guys. And now what you have stored. Oops. Now that's fine. And now this is a file you have stored here. Now, first of all, you need to compile this file. Let me compile this file. GCC first, and just write C carefully. And this is the one more file you will get here. And now this is a bytecode you have generated. Now you have to execute this bytecode and you will get the response from your file. This is a final output you are expecting from compiler programming language. This is a method how you'll be able to execute the compiler programming language. Now the point what I have told you, let's suppose if you have done a one single mistake, what mistake? Let me remove the one semicolon there, or either just you can simply use a one undefined variable. It's your choice. One on that point, I'm gonna delete this output again. Done. And now this is a file you are able to see. Let me execute this file again. And you will not be able to build your file because you have done one error. Even you have a single error in your program, you will not be able to compile your file. That's actually what I have told you. So first of all, you have to debug your code. Okay. Again, compile the same code. Code has been compiled. Let me execute again, and you will get the output. So this is a one example to understand this thing. Okay, if you will discuss about the Java as well as, so you can also discuss about the Java here. For that, just let me take the SSH. So this is a first code I have written in case of Java. Okay. And now this is a hello world program I have written inside the Java. And you know very well Java is also a compiled programming language. So you need a compiler for that. So I have installed a one compiler Java C. Let me compile my program. Got it. Once you're going to compile, there's a one more file have been created. Now this is a compiled code what you have created. Yeah, look at this. This is not a human readable. Just you have to execute this code and you will get the output from the Java program hello world. Okay, so these are the example of the compiler programming language. And now here we have to discuss about the interpreter as well. So in case of interpreter, just you can simply take an example of the Python or the PHP or Perl. So I'm going to take an example of the Python programming language. Okay, so we will discuss in brief how you'll be write your Python program. These are the just example I'm going to write. So I'm going to write a one Python program to understand how a Python program will execute. So this is what I have done shebang, and now I'm going to write a one Python program. In this line, I'm going to write hi, line 1 from Python. That's fine. So I'm going to write 5 lines here. 4 and the 5. That's fine. Now the point is, I'm gonna done a mistake inside between the file. Please don't use the notations. I will take your doubts. You are disturb all the guys. Please don't use the notations. So what I have done, guys, so I have written a one file of Python program. Okay, and now how many lines I have stored?
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Is this going to be from basic or for not? Is it not for beginners? this
Yeah,
Python one?
actually, this is from beginner. These are some examples I have told you how a Python program is executing. What are the differences between the compiler and interpreter and the scripting? Okay, I will give
Okay,
you the
okay.
basic tutorial as well as how you'll be execute, how you'll be create the basic program. These are just example to understand the difference of the executions of program.
Okay,
Okay, so
okay.
I have written a one piece of code big, okay, belongs from Python, and now either just you can simply say this is a code belong from interpreter programming language. When you will execute this particular code, I'm going to execute this. Okay, so just look at this. You will get the execution of first 3 lines, right? Just look at this. When you will get the error on line number 6, on that point your program will be terminated and you will not get a output of remaining lines. Just I have told you. Okay, and now you have to debug your code again, remove this line. Once you have done, execute the same code again and you will get the whole output from your program. So this is the one example to understand the interpreter. When you will get the error in your program, on that point your program will be terminated. Otherwise the earlier one will be execute and the remaining will not be execute if you have received any error. Okay, these are the types of the interpreter programming language. Let me take the last one, belongs from scripting. So
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, can you repeat one more time the
yeah,
interpreter
sure.
one? Yeah,
Yep.
I'm sorry for that. Yeah.
Don't worry. So one you will discuss about the compiler. So let me repeat the both of them. If you want to discuss about the compiler here. So in case of compiler programming language, if you will, first of all, if you have received any error, even a single line, you will not be compile your code. Because in case of compiler programming language, it will take your whole code in one single shot and it will build your code. After that, you have to execute your code. But in case of interpreter, just what I have written here, so it will execute, it will interpret your code line by line. So first of all, it will interpret this line. After that, it will interpret this line. After that, it will interpret this line. So now the point is, if you will get any error in any line, okay. So first of all, these 3 lines already have been interpreted, right? So that's why you will receive the output from these lines. Let me show you. That's why. Okay, you have received the output from these lines, but when you will get the error, data is not defined. On that point, what you have written after that particular line, these lines not have been executed. Just look at this.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you.
So now the third one we have to discuss about this. Please don't use a
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Sir, these unwanted notations are quite disturbing, actually.
Actually, I'm not
Yes,
able to
the
see.
unwanted
Actually, you
notation.
can block them, sir.
Block them, sir. Disturbance will come.
There's an option for you, sir. You can actually mute everyone and you can
Mute everyone.
block
Yes, yes. Mute everyone.
Yeah, let
even
me-
the notification.
Go to more.
Sir, you can mute everybody.
Please
Mute everyone.
force mute. Can you see the option of more, sir? In that, if you want, you can disable the annotation.
Yes, sir. The updation is coming.
Let me mute. No, that's good.
Mute everyone, sir. Please mute everyone.
Let me try to mute. Just give me a moment. Allow participant. Now that's okay. Done. So here, let me go back to the point. So now we have to discuss about the scripting language, right? In case of a scripting language, just I have told you, if you will receive an error in case of one single line, okay, after that you will know only that particular line will not be executed and the remaining code will be executed successfully. So write down the third program, okay, and this particular program, you should be serious about the course, guys. Please don't use the notations. I will look at this particular solutions in tomorrow's session, don't worry. So what I'm going to do, just I'm going to write a one program from belongs the bash scripting, right? And now in this script, I'm going to return some just normal echo messages. Hi all from line 1 bash. Just let me create a one queue. Just give me a moment. And that's fine. Queue it at no, that's fine. Echo message 3, message 4, and message 5. And now what I have told you, if you want to return, if you have written a one error in your program, just like I have done the one mistake in my program, let me execute my program here. Okay, just look at this carefully. You will get the whole output of your whole line. Only the 6th line will not be executed. You will get an error in 6th line. Remain the earlier line have been executed and it will give you the proper output, and the remaining line also have been executed and it will give you the proper output. So that's a one example to understand the scripting languages are. Okay, if you will delete this particular error, and now that's fine. Your whole code will be execute proper. So now the point is, some candidates will ask you one question here. Let's suppose if you want to write this type of example, a is equal to 10. Okay, only just you have to try to understand now. Now on that point, okay, let's suppose I want to print the value of a, but sometimes you have done a one mistake you have done, just one mistake. So now the point, this is not a right method to define the variable in bash. Okay, now this particular line will give you the error here. Let me execute, and now the another line is depend on this particular line. So what you will get here, just look at this. The another line will not print this particular variable because this variable have not been defined here. That was a wrong method to define the variable. That's why when you're gonna execute this line, this particular line have been depend on this line. Okay, on that, that's why you will get the empty output here. That's a method what you will receive here. Just, and now if you wanna use a proper method, now that's fine, and you will get your whole line will be executed. You will get the 10 as well. So these are the just examples to understand all things. And now here, let me go back to the point. Now let me discuss from basics, guys. Now these are some examples what I have told you to understand all type of programming language. And now let me discuss from the basics again. What are the use cases of the Python and why we are using the Python? Python is dynamic or the static. So let me open a one introduction PPT for that. Because most of the time today's session will be theoretical session. From the tomorrow I will teach you how you'll be able to install Python in your machine. Okay, and let's move further. So let me open a one introduction PPT here to understand the theoretical section of the Python. Let me share my screen again, just a moment. Now I have shared my screen again, that's cool. And now let me open the introduction PPT here. Okay, so now we have already discussed why do we need, these are the basics question. Actually you have known why do you need programmings, right? Because if you want to work with the machines, then you have to write some program too, because the machines will not able to understand your voice, right? So you need to install an operating system in that machine. Okay, and after that, on top of installation, once you have done the installation of your operating system, this you have to write some programs into the different programming language if you want to do some task along with your machine, because machine will understand the programming languages, right? So that's why you need the programming to execute the work along with your machines here. So now the next thing, after that we have to discuss some more just concept of the theoretical sessions here. What we have to discuss, some brief history of the programming language. Just I'm going to share this PPT along with you into the Slack workspace as well, that you can simply read out all these theoretical section. Okay, now what is actually a Python? So these are the most important thing you have to discuss here. The Python is a high level programming language with the dynamic semantics. So actually this is a very powerful line I have written here. So what are the high level programming language? Okay, now the one you will discuss about the high level programming language and the low level programming language. So on that point, so when the programming language, if we'll discuss about the high level, so high level programming languages are the most user friendly programming language. Okay, the syntax of the high level programming language will be very user friendly. Okay, but in case of low level programming language, the syntax of the low level programming language is machine friendly, not the user friendly. First of all, it will convert low level programming language into the high level. After that, then that will be a sequence of the execution. But the point, in case of low level programming language, the execution time is very fast as well as, okay, and the example to understand what are the low level programming language, the example is assembly programming language. If you have done the assembly programming, okay, that was a one example to understand of the low level. Okay, if you want to write even a one single program to print the hello world, okay, if you want to write a program to print the hello world, okay, so on that point you have to write actually at least 20 line of code. But in case of high level programming language, just you can simply write a one line to print the hello world program. So these are the differences between the high level and the low level. So now the point is, Python is a high level programming language with the dynamic semantics. What does it mean? Actually, in case of dynamic semantics, when you will discuss about this term, so let me show you what is actually is it. So actually in case of dynamic semantics, so let's suppose if you're going to discuss about the C and C++, Java, all these are the static semantics. What does it mean? So when you will discuss the other programming language, if you have defined a one variable, first of all, you have to declare a one variable in case of C programming language. And what I have done, so if you want to declare a one variable of the integer type and you have defined a one integer into that variable, that's fine. But the later one, you have defined a string inside the same variable. Okay, you are trying to initialize a one string inside the same variable. The earlier one you have defined the type of this variable is integer, so you will not be able to get. Please don't use the notation. Now right now I'm not able to get any options to remove, to stop the notations from the user. Okay, now here what we have done, so this is not a dynamically typed programming language. This I'm talking about the C, C++ and Java. Okay, you will get an error in your program if you will write this type of code. But in case of Python, all the objects are dynamic. If you have defined a one variable, okay, if you have stored 10, if you have assigned it 10 because the type of this particular 10 is integer. If you have assigned 10 inside the A, okay, and the later one, if you want to define the string inside the same variable, that's particular, these particular things will work inside the Python. That's why the Python is a dynamic semantic programming language. Okay, it will save lots of memory. It will save the most of variable. It will save the length of your code as well as you don't have to define every time a new variable. Just you can simply use the earlier variable what you have already used. Okay, so this is the one. The Python is a dynamic type programming language. You don't have to change the type of your variable, just you can simply change the data and that particular data will be changed. And now after that we have to discuss Python is a general purpose and the powerful programming language. What is actually general purpose? When you learn about the programming language, okay, so every programming language has been created for a specific purpose. Okay, just if you will discuss about any programming languages or a scripting language, if you will discuss, just HTML and the CSS both are the scripting language, right? So on that point, every languages have been described from a specific purpose. But in case of Python, this is a general purpose. You can simply use Python in each and every field. If you want to go for a machine learning or the artificial intelligence, data scientist, web development, graphical applications development, so you can simply use Python in all fields. Or either just you can simply write the automations script using the Python. That's why the Python is right now most trending programming language nowadays. And now the one best field is Python is very easy to understand. Python is very easy to write your codes. Okay, it's too enough. Please don't use the notations, guys. I know Python is a very attractive for the rapid application development. What's the reason behind this? Okay, how you will be able to rapidly development your software because of the libraries of the Python. Now Python have a vast library. Okay, even if you will discuss about the any another programming language, now all programming from the old programming language, Python has a very vast library. Okay, because if you will discuss, Python is also a freely distributed. Please don't use the notations, guys. Please be serious. Okay, once I will get who is used the notations, I'm gonna kick out from you. I'll get a solutions until tomorrow, don't worry. So now we have to discuss about the another facilities of the Python has been provided to you. Okay, now you will discuss Python is also a free distributed and Python is also a open source. And what is actually open source? So in case there's a two type of software, you will find out sometime you will get the open source and the closed source. Under the open source license, if you will launch any software, so you have to distribute your source code of your software as well as if a user want to modify anything your software, then user will able to do that. Okay, and user also launch that particular software on their name. Okay, but that particular software should be free. Okay, if you have launched any software under the freely distributed or the open source license I'm discuss about. Okay, so guys, just give me 2 minutes. Let me check it out. I find the solution. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me mute myself. Okay, I have done. I have removed the one guy named as Sagar HP and the no one. Okay, who have used notations again and again. I have removed that guy from the session. Now we have to discuss about the Python again, guys. And now I have told you Python is a freely distributed version. Just if you need to install a Python in your machine, just you can simply download from the internet. And Python is also a open source. If you want to change anything inside the Python programming language, according to your requirement, you will be able to do that. Okay, that's actually open sources. Shoria, please. Yeah, okay. Python supporters, modules, and the packages. Yeah. Actually, when you will discuss about this particular point, Python supports the multiple modules and the packages. So using these particular modules and the packages, you will be able to do the rapid application development. What does it mean? Let's take on one example. Okay. If you want to send an email to the user, or if you want to create a speech recognition program, okay, for in any different other programming language, you will be able to do that. But for that, you have to create your own libraries. But in case of Python, you will get the modules and the packages already built in Python to specify the speech recognition. Okay, if you want to write a program for the speech recognition, just you have to download that module and package from the official website of Python. That was actually a pypy.org. Okay, so we will have a one chapter on top of that, how you'll be able to install the module and package. Once you're gonna use those modules and the package, so you can simply develop your application rapidly. Okay, it will not take more time as compared to another programming languages. Okay. And now who have invented the Python? That's developed by the George van Rossum. That was a Dutch scientist have been developed a Python and started in 1989 and launched the first version in 1991. Now, how Python got its name? The Python got its name from the one famous circle named as Monty Python Flying Circus, not from a Asgar. Okay, who manage the Python right now? Python is managed by the Python Software Foundation. Okay, and now there's the most two popular version of Python, Python 2 and the Python 3. But nowadays there's a no more support of Python 2 is available. Now we have to work on top of Python 3. That was the latest version actually is. Okay, this is a non-profit organization. Now this is the official website of the Python from where you're gonna download the Python as well as in your machine. Now come to the point, and now you have to discuss about the feature of the Python. Because Python is very simple to write. Right now, if you want to write a program in Python, just you have already seen, I have given the 3 example. So just Python is very simple from the another programming language. Python have a time management as well as. Now what is actually a time management? Let's suppose you can simply rapidly develop your environment. Just you can simply rapidly develop your applications as well as using some sort of libraries. Okay, if you want to write some short code, then obviously your time will be saved. That you can simply, that was actually a time management. If you will discuss about the memory management, so Python have their own memory management. Okay, you not to worry about the garbage collection or the GC. Once you gonna free a particular variable, if a particular variable have not any reference, so that particular object will automatically remove from your memory. Python have their own memory management system. Easy maintenance. Okay, what is actually easy maintenance? Let's suppose if you want to maintain a other developer code. Okay, so on that point, you have to understand first of all the other developer code. So when you're going to maintain a Python code, so you will be able to easily maintain other developer as well as you will get the help as well as on top of all features. So there's a beautiful documentation of the Python you will get here in each function. Okay, in each classes as you will get the help page. Okay, how you'll be able to all these things everywhere you will get the help page in case of Python. After that, you have to discuss about the easy modifications. So you can simply easily modify your program. Okay, there's a, when you're gonna open your Python program, you can simply, when you're gonna look out your Python program, so you have to create your body using the indentation. That's why just you can simply easily modify your program. Okay, you will be easily understand where the body is start and where you wanna execute, where the body is end using the indentation there. It will support the exception handling. We have already discussed into the course concept what is actually exception handling is. We have already discussed about the dynamically type as well as, okay, you can simply change the type of any variable without define again the variable. It will support the multiple programming paradigms and the embedded extensible. Actually, if you have write some piece of code in case of C programming language, okay, if you're gonna write some code in Java as well as, so you can simply execute both code along with using a Python, because Python will give you the different compiler as well as just C Python and Z Python. Okay, so when you're gonna use the both Python version, then you will be able to compile your code using the Python compiler. Okay, just if you will discuss about the pandas library, okay, that particular library will build on C programming language, right? And now you can simply use those library inside the Python program. So that's actually it will support a multiple programming paradigms along using a Python. It's a cross-platform programming language, and now this is a very beautiful feature of this particular programming language. What is actually a cross-platform, guys? This just one example to understand. Try to one example. I'm using a Ubuntu. Okay, this is a Linux-based operating system. Some of you users have used a Windows operating system. Some of you have used a Unix operating system, Mac OS. So on that point, if I'm gonna build a one program on top of my machine, the same program you are able to execute on top of your machine as well. That's actually a cross-platform is. But in case of C programming language, I have written a one program in my machine. Okay, you will not be able to execute my program on top of Windows. But in case of cross-platform, if you're gonna build a one program on any platform, and after that you will be able to execute the same program on different platforms. So that's why the Python is cross-platform as well. It have an extensive library. The library of the Python is very extensive. Okay, just you have to import those library and you can simply develop your application rapidly. So these are some basic differences between the Java, Python, JavaScript. Okay, just you can simply read out all the difference. I'm gonna share this PPT along with you as well, guys. Okay, and now these are some basic program to understand how Python is easy. Okay, in case of C program, just I have already give you the one live example. This is a one Java program for hello world. In case of Python, just you have to write one line. Okay, yeah, my bad. This is a syntax of a Python 2. Just this PPT is not updated. Just in case of Python 3, just you have to write a one set of parentheses here. Okay, this is the one another example to understand if you want to write, if you want to add two numbers. So in case of C, you have to write this particular code. In case of Java, you have to write this code. But in case of Python, just you can simply write this program in 2 lines. Okay, I'm going to explain all these things. Okay, when you will start the practical session from next day, don't worry. So, and how Python is dynamic, what Python can do, in which field just you can simply use a Python. You can simply use in web and internet development. You can simply develop the education's applications, graphical GUI applications, gaming and 3D graphics, network programming, database access. So all these features have been provided by the Python as well. Just you can simply read out, just you can simply go through along with this PPT. And now let me open the chat window. Let's check your doubts. And from next session, tomorrow's session, we will learn how you'll be set up a developer environment in your machine. Okay, so there's a multiple environment I'm gonna show you. So I will teach you how you can simply install the PyCharm, how can you simply install the Visual Studio Code and the Atom and the Jupyter Notebook and the Spider, and what are the differences between all of them. So I'm going to discuss all of them in next session. So let me open the chat and now let's check what you have written. Okay, this is a not voice note for how you will be able to finish within 20. Actually, we will finish our course in 25 days. Okay. So JavaScript is a kind of language. Actually, when you will discuss about the JavaScript is also an interpreter language. You can go slow. Actually, this is normally theoretical session. Yeah, I will go slow in case of practical. Don't worry, bro. Could you just off annotations? Yeah, I have already done. So more than one file compiled can be created or not? Yeah, you can simply compile more file as well. Due to the okay, that was a normal question. Okay, what is your questions, guys? I have only got the doubt. Okay, I'm not getting any question, just a normal questions you have asked. I'm trying to find one valid question. Okay, yeah, I will share the PDF. You are gonna teach 20. Yep, I'm gonna teach us 25 days. According related to attendance, just you can simply log in on top of Slack workspace. You will get the notifications, guys, there. Actually, this course will not include the Django Maheshwari. Okay, we'll teach at memory level. No, we will not teach at memory level. Actually, that was an advanced concept of the, if you will discuss about that was a concept of the data structure and algorithm. If you will discuss about the space complexity and the memory complexity. Okay, that was a one different course content. Don't worry, guys. If you don't have a zero knowledge of Ubuntu, don't worry. We will also teach you how you'll be able to set up the environment of Windows. Actually, for you, I have already set up a one environment, but today I have don't make any time. So that's already I have take a remote connection on top of my friend's machine because I don't have any Windows operating system in my machine. That's a, actually I have already set up a one environment. So you will get this environment as well as tomorrow. So this is a Windows, how you'll be able to set up here. So I will teach you on tomorrow's session. Okay, this is a Windows as well. I have how you'll be able to do all these things. So I will show you in tomorrow's session. So let me open the chat again. Just a moment. And now, where's the chat box? Now this is a chat. Now that's fine. How many tasks you have? How to record my attendance? Regard this question in Slack. Machine learning is not include this course. Only I will give the some normal examples. What is actually machine learning is. I will share the Python material in future. Don't worry. So we will learn to build our project. Yeah, I will teach you how you will be able to build your project using the Python. Don't worry. Okay. I have also, don't worry, bro. If you don't have a zero knowledge of Python, we have already discussed on a theoretical section. Okay. I will teach you the practical section. I'll be very slow. Don't worry about these things. Is there any certificate? No, actually, in case of Python, there's a no official certification, but most of the organizations will provide the Python certification as well. Data structure and algorithm will be taught with Python. No, actually, I will not teach you the data structure and algorithm. That was a different course. If you are using a Windows XP, please upgrade your window to the Windows 10 or at least you have to upgrade it to Windows 7 or 8. Yeah, I will show the program in Windows as well. Don't worry. So hopefully I have took all the questions because there's actually unwanted questions you have asked just. So that's why I have picked some of your questions, guys. And now let's wrap up this session for today. Yep, if you have valid questions still yet, if you have some doubt, just you can simply ask in tomorrow's session as well as, okay. And just you can simply drop your questions. And goodbye for today. I'm going to share this PPT of introduction into the Slack workspace today. And just you can simply look this PPT there. Bye.